Here's our wheels. 3 different wheels, and together they create a prompt. I'm gonna spin you a prompt, and you'll be forced to improvise whatever it asks of you.
Okay, I'm ready.
Major grandmother.
Major like college? What would be a good class?
You gotta make up a song about a largemouth cat lady. In the Avatar extended universe, we have like an older fella.
Hyper-aggressive.
Family business.
Very flamboyant demon man.
I think it's Nick Cage. Oh, okay. Nick Cage is the Goblin. Nick Cage is Goblin. Yeah.
Cyberpunk spice. It's like cilantro, but it's like metally.
Doilies. Doilies 101.
Doilies.
Plummet and you die.
This is actually the prequel to how all the Smurf movies started.
I'm very much team big lady.
But if I'm eating the bean,
then you're gonna get food poisoning.
67 cents.
Expecting to fight a regular skeleton?
Gold leaf.
I just slapped my thumb.
Coppers will never catch me.
What does language mean?
All right. Welcome in, Woody.
Hey, how's it
You
going?
can hear me. Look at this boy. Thank
Hello,
you for
everybody.
The follow. You can move.
Oh, look, you've got me up on a little, there's a little thing up there. Where can I point at things? So you got a little picture of me.
Can you T-pose on me?
Can I T-pose on you? Not in my current configuration, so not in my current mocap, but it would be an honor.
Do you wanna introduce yourself really quick?
Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Woody of the Woody Devs channel. So I run a YouTube channel, which I'm a little more well known for, and a Twitch stream called Woody Devs. It is a VTuber developer stream. So I make interactive Unreal Engine content, and a lot of times that involves Twitch chat themselves. So I make a lot of interactive videos, experiences, games that everybody can be a part of. So sometimes I do what Niles does, and I kind of do a little bit of a talky talk thing, and sometimes we play games like the one you just saw that he just played for everybody. I think that's concise.
Speaking of, you guys can go to his Twitch chat right now and use his commands, right?
Wow, just right out the gate, man.
Yeah.
All right.
we got to.
Theoretically, one could do that, yes, and it could make this interview a little more interesting. That's for sure.
We gotta take advantage of the time. We only have, what, 47 more minutes?
Oh, wow.
So, of course. And what is your YouTube channel? Drop your Twitch.
Oh, yeah. So it's, I think, Twitch makes it so easy, right? It's like the twitch.tv/WoodyDevs with YouTube. It's like youtube.com/c/WoodyDevs or something like that. I think
done.
That I have to verify that. Like, and whenever I click on it, it always gives me like the one with like the file hash or whatever it's called, that like, just the jumble of letters and stuff. So it's like both.
Yeah, now you have your own channel name.
Yeah, no, I have for a little while. The good stuff's happening over there on the YouTube. The YouTube's sort of the primary place where I live, although I've had a lot of trouble posting lately. But that's sort of my my first social space, and the Twitch is where I can kind of like integrate everybody and like move everybody on into this like weird thing I'm doing, this these interactive projects, so to speak.
Do you want to tell the chat really quick what kind of commands they can use on you?
Oh,
or are they gonna have to figure them out themselves?
I'm gonna leave that up to chat. I'm gonna leave it to them.
It'll be an adventure
before madness ensues.
All of a sudden, we'll start seeing random things fly around.
That's very well possible. The thing is, though, you might not. One of the things chat can do, and I was trying to leave this to chat to figure it out. But one of the things people can do is drop vegetables on me, because I hate vegetables. And but they're not going to show up on this because, okay, look. I know this is maybe a little bit too much table talk, a little bit too much inside baseball, but when VTubers do these little interview streams, there we go. I've been ragdolled. Yeah. A lot of times they're using green screen technology to be able to make all that happen. So it doesn't play super nicely with the vegetables. Yeah, go ahead.
No. Speaking of vegetable, we do have a video for that, but we'll save it until we move on a little bit further into the interview.
That's right. I sent you that too. Yeah. People can see exactly what I'm talking about.
So you're a dev, and I've seen a bit of your setup. Is that the setup you're using right now? The one you can move your legs with, or is this more?
Yeah, no, I have a pretty. So first thing people need to know about me, I guess, is that I code my VTuber app stuff myself. All the mocap, all of the integrations for all of the hardware I use is stuff that I program using Unreal Engine Blueprint. So I can get up and walk around in my scene using like a sort of a third person view thing. If I did it now, it would just totally like make this entire experience. It would just be too early to break the fourth wall, you know? I just can't like just tear down this beautiful little speakeasy that you've built here. I can't just, you know, that would be jarring to say the least.
People have to go in through the washing machine, then the bathroom to get in here, so don't mess it up.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's that intense of a speakeasy? Like it's that secret? We have to get through a washing machine?
Invitation only. You have to go to a payphone. Does it have like a cool name that integrates the washing machine? Is it like Welcome to Spin Cycle? It's a speakeasy by VG Niles. I love that. Can I steal that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
For sure. That's all you.
So the first thing I want to ask is, how did you even get into this, and how long have you been doing development?
Oh my gosh, my journey is long and weird. It's I'm gonna start with a philosophical answer to the question. So a lot of times I see interviews and someone's like, how did you get started? In fact, I ask people that all the time. I'm like, how did you get started doing this? You know, how did you get into the space that you get into? And life is like way less about like the individual points as it is like sort of the accumulation of all of those different things that happen to you. Mm-hmm. So like you asked me, you said it like you started by saying like, you're a dev, how did you get into this and stuff like that? And for the longest time, no one's known of me as like a developer professionally. So like, when I was a kid, I taught myself how to code, and I didn't honestly get very far. Like I got a little bit of like what I wanted out of it, but I didn't do a lot. But I taught myself like just a ton of the building blocks of like how to make stuff and how to make games, like just, you know, basic logic of it, you know, like, and I was discouraged by it. I didn't think I was any good, and like I didn't, you know, and like really think about it that hard. And then like later on, I would, you know, kind of reintegrate that. So I've been working as a filmmaker for the last almost like, I guess I've been employed as a filmmaker for almost 10 years, something like that. So I've been working more with, I've been working with like cameras and stuff, but now I'm like taking all of my know-how about how to make movies, and I'm trying to like just put that back into a game engine. That's sort of the idea, I guess, so to speak.
Do you mind if we show we're just gonna go out all guns blasting. Do you mind if we show your D&D thing, so people see, the ones that don't know you, they can see sort of what you're all about?
Yeah, sure. So can I set it up a little bit?
Of course.
Can I like give a little extra context? So this D&D video is really great. It's like one of the first things you'll find on my YouTube channel. This was like a really cool kind of mixture of things, like what I'm talking about. Is like life is like less about like I did this and this, and then this happened. It's like, it's way more about like, you know, I had a number of cool experiences that all got mixed into an experience stew, and here we are. So this D&D video, it combines my love of like filmmaking, because it's like a pretty well edited video. I put a lot of time into it.
It's really good.
And also combines the development project itself. Like I made a Twitch interactive thing, and also combines my love of being a dungeon master playing Dungeons and Dragons. So like it's a big soup of cool ideas. I guess that's probably the best way to set it up. I'm someone who likes to combine things, I should say. But yeah,
as a D&D nerd, the moment I saw that, I went half chub. I have no idea how you could even implement that. So.
I'm not sure how I did either, because it kind of all happened within the scope of a week.
Yeah, that's the craziest part. That all right. How about we show it? That way people can see what we're talking about. All right, here we go.
Go for it. Give it a go.
Turn off the music.
It's the world's first and only D&D simulator that can be played entirely by an audience. Every member of Twitch chat can spawn in as a player and play every facet of the game. And what's even crazier is that I built this entire experience in 1 week.
Honestly, baffles me how you could do that in 1 week.
Oh man, are you familiar with game jams, like as a concept?
Not at all.
So game jams are like when developers try to make games in incredibly compressed periods of time.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yes. I know that. Yes, I know the concepts. Still,
yeah, Milo knows what I'm talking about. Milo and Chet is getting my vibe. Yeah, so a game jam is basically just like when developers are like, hey, you know, I'm just gonna slap out a game real quick. It's usually in a competition, right? So like a famous one is like GMTK, Game Maker's Toolkit. Like a bunch of people compete in that every year. It's usually in the summer, I think. But like that's the idea, is like how quickly can we get this out? But what's interesting about that is you end up getting something finished, something complete, like an experience or a game, faster than if you had been like, I'm gonna give myself a month. Because, you know, at any given point, you can slow down and like get really methodical when you make something, or you can just like say, here we go. And then like, we're gonna go for it. We're just gonna like shove this into the microwave and dial it in to like 30 seconds. And let's hope we've got a fresh hot game afterwards.
Are you a habitual D&D player IRL as well?
I thought you were about to ask me if I use microwaves a lot.
No.
And the answer is yes.
You don't cook then?
No, gosh, no, I'm not great in the kitchen. Yeah, I do play D&D. I've been I'll be honest, like I have not been into it for super long. My little brother's been into it a long time, and he's like kind of like dragged me to like little things here and there since like, you know, since like 8 years ago or something like that. I got into it fully during COVID when everything was locked down. Like I just got online with some friends and I was like, all right, I'll DM this thing. And we did a campaign and it was cool. And I tried to turn that into a game project with the same people, and it didn't really work so well. And then, you know, we started another campaign that's just been going on for almost 2 years now. But yeah.
Are these? Yeah. Is this D&D, this Twitch D&D thing? Is it a scheduled thing, or when will we see it again?
Oh, I'm really glad you asked. So it's a lot of work to put it together. It's probably actually going to be harder to make the next one than it was to make this one, in at least one way, and that's that. Like I have to go back through all my rushed code to like put together the next thing. So one of the people you'll see if you watch that YouTube video is another VTuber named Horatius the Dwarf, who's a friend of mine. Horatius is really great. He is a mental health professional. There we go. There's some veggies. There's some veggies here. Is someone gonna like just hang out in my lap? I don't know how I feel about that. Like, get out of there.
Oh,
yeah.
You can push him away?
Yeah, it's physics enabled. Yeah, hold on. Let me see. Let me look at my Twitch chat here. Who's being problematic? Oh, it's Milo. Nice. That's fantastic. Where was I going with this? What were we talking about? I got
how your code is all spaghettied.
Yeah, it is totally spaghettied. So it probably will be a little bit more of a trick to like go back through it and get everything working this time, just because, you know, we all want. The first one was kind of cursed, right? Like the first time you do anything is ugly. I had my chemistry teacher in high school always said the first time you charm. Yeah, I mean, scuff is scuff, right? Like everyone has it, but like the first time you do anything, it's like it's not going to be as good as the 60th time you've done it. So, was I gonna? Yeah, what to say about that other than it is what it is?
Do we expect Horatius to come back?
I'm sorry. You cut out a little bit.
Do we expect it to come back? The D&D?
Yes. Right. Sorry, I was trailing to that. So I did. Horatius joined me on stream during the last one, and the story was sort of a collaboration between him, myself, and our friend Steez Hornsby and Bjorn CH, and we kind of like all collabed on the story bit and stuff. And Horatius kind of hung out with me and did crowd control, where I like did my weird techno DM thing, or I guess GM. This is not like a licensed D&D anyway. Less said about that, the better, probably. So Horatius is actually going to be coming back for the next one. He's a dwarf VTuber, so he's already way into fantasy stuff, and he's going to be the official game master for the next one, for the next D&D on stream thing. And I'm just going to be sort of the technical monkey that sort of makes the whole thing possible. So we're going to do something similar to what we did last time, but we're still sort of in process with it. but I can officially announce the next one is going to be Tuesday, November 29th. I know that's like sort
nice.
of far out in the content creation world, but that's like, you know, we need a lot of time to like
of course. That's
dial
awesome.
it in. Yeah. This is actually a first. This is the first place I've announced the date.
Oh, what an honor then. I'm a big D&D nerd, so when I saw that, it was amazing. And I don't want to. It's your interview, so I don't want to talk about Horatius too much. But it's amazing to me how small of a world this is, because even before I decided to be a VTuber, he was one of the first ones I saw online. So.
Oh yeah, I mean he's a great dude. I've actually like I don't know, man. So like I have this thing lately, and I've like my chat's heard me talk a lot about it. I have like mixed feelings about the way people like to talk about their friends. Like I can say I'm pretty close with Horatius, you know, like I've actually met him in person before. But I have mixed feelings about the way people talk about their friends, because like depending on, you know, what's going on with it, like, you know, I've seen people handle this badly, right? Having a friend is like a really nice thing, right? It's not a commodity. It's like but it's a beautiful, valuable thing. Like having a friend is a really big deal. So like I appreciate my friend, and I want to talk about him in a way that honors and respects him. But I also don't ever want to be caught talking about my friends in a way that like seems name droppy, you know?
No, of course,
like,
yeah.
Because that's like that's a whole other thing. So I'm really excited he's coming on to do this next D&D thing. I'm really excited to have him for. Oh no, what's going on?
We're getting raided. We're getting raided.
We're getting raided. Hello, Raiders.
Say hello to Ayane. Do you mind if I do a little shout out?
Oh, please, do your thing.
Witaj, Ayane. Dziękuję. Kocham cię. Say witaj. That means welcome in Polish. Woody.
Oh, say it.
Yeah,
oh, sorry.
Witaj.
I thought that was part of the. I thought that was part of the thing, like part of the the language. Like the first word was "say," and I was just like, "Oh yeah, it's okay."
No.
So "vitai" is the word.
Yes, welcome in Polish.
All right, welcome.
Thank you so much for the raid. We're doing our first interview of the day with Woody Devs, who. Oh, thank you for the shout out, Milo, for Woody. He makes. Well, he's a game dev, filmmaker. What else would you say you are?
I make crazy stuff.
Yeah, crazy stuff for sure.
I make things that like people would not advise. I'm like, oh, I'll make my first VR game, and then oh, I know. Well, it should have procedural generation, and also it should have grappling hooks and like interesting locomotion mechanics, and also like chat should be able to spawn into it. And it's like, and then I'll go do that, and it's like,
why don't we roll the clip?
Yeah, it's the cursed clip. Here comes a cursed clip, everybody.
Let's go.
Oh, yo, the limiter doesn't work. Oh, no. How did you... I thought Twitch chat would keep you from doing that with, like, the spam filter. Ah! No! No.
So you made that entire game, and if I'm not wrong, the bots are your Twitch chat, right?
Yes. So this is a game I made called Ascender. Originally, it didn't really have a name. It was just like a sort of a laundry list of like things I wanted to put in the game, and then like as it kept going, I was like, okay, this is actually pretty cool. It's actually a pretty sweet game. So it didn't start with like the Twitch chat part. It started with me just like trying to figure out like, okay, how could I make an interesting, compelling VR game at all? And then I got pretty far pretty fast, and then I was like, okay, well, let's make, you know, let's make this even more interactive. So I had all of these bots. Like in the game, you fight bots. The loop of the game, the core mechanic of the game is it's a full motion VR game. You can pick up weapons that also have movement components, and you can choose to spend your bullets either on like ammo, like on like shooting, or on transportation. So like you can shoot a gun that can either shoot lasers, or it can create a teleportation sphere like wherever at the end of at the laser point. So like you can use that to just like get around really fast, but it doesn't have that much ammo. So like if you use that there, then you can't shoot as much. And then there's like a grappling hook gun which can shoot little pellets, or you can use it to launch grappling hooks, which is probably the highlight of my whole life. Like at least my career, I guess, of like as a VTuber is like I built a grappling hook gun in VR. So I mean that was cool. But then like so you fight the bots to be able to progress through the game. You play in sort of this like atop the mountains like world of like floating islands basically, and like there's a floor beneath you of fog that will keep rising. So you want to escape the fog, so you have to get higher, but to be able to get higher you have to clear out all the bots that are around, and the bots also want to kill you. So as you keep going, more bots spawn and the floor rises faster, and then you know it becomes this sort of roguelite loop. And then you can find more random drops, you can find more health, you can find more ammo, and you can find more guns. There's also a sword, which is pretty sweet because the sword like one-shots the bots, and it's the most satisfying feeling when you just chop one out of the sky, especially when it's a chatter of yours, like an ornery chatter, you know, someone who's like getting, you know, every once in a while just busting your chops too much, and you just like slice them one good. I don't have chatters like that. I have super nice chatters. But it, yeah, so like the chat spawn thing came really late. I think I coded that in like an hour or something like that. And it's honestly like, it's pretty broken. Like in the clip you just watched, one of my like Twitch chat, you know, y'all can't spam stuff, otherwise Twitch will catch it. But fun fact, if you're a VIP on a channel, you can spam as much as you want. So one of my VIPs spawned in like, you know, 40 bots, and then that was me like just running through the air like trying to not get hit by 40 bots. And well, the story tells itself. It ends with me yelling and falling to my death. But yeah. So we're still working on the YouTube video for it to like tell the story of how it gets made, because there's like there's an emotional component to it too.
Yeah, I've seen you playing around with the zip line, and I don't know. I don't understand how you don't get motion sick.
Oh, I'm a VR like what's the term? I'm a heavyweight at this point for VR.
You're an early adopter.
I don't know if I was an early adopter, but I put my hours in. Like I don't get sick in VR. I can play racing games. I can play all kinds of games.
So by the way, we're a bit past the 20-minute mark. So guys, we're officially open for audience questions if you have any.
Cool.
In the meantime, while we wait for questions, because it usually gets chaotic, you told me you were the engineer for Pumpkin Potion, right?
Oh yeah, yes I was. So some of y'all might know Pumpkin Potion. She's an amazing streamer. She does a lot of cool stuff.
She's very cool, yeah.
Yeah, and someone I've gotten to know for a long time now. Just really great. Someone I feel like I can just kind of hit up sometimes when I, you know, have a question about stuff. She knows content creation like the back of her hand. Like someone who really knows how to build like campaigns. Like she used to work as a social media pro. So for a long time she was just using like a Vroid model, but still absolutely just like killing it, making great content. And then this year, a couple months ago, she got a new model, and but she also in the meantime, the whole time behind the scenes, was working with myself and eventually another 3D modeler, another VTuber named Velpepper, to create this Unreal Engine world that's actually pretty similar to my own in terms of like the interactability. So she has a lot of my secret superpowers now, and eventually you'll be able to probably torment her the same way that you can do to me, I guess.
I was going through her stuff in a good way, and I think I found the world that you designed. For her. Do you mind if I show it?
I did, just to clarify, like I was the engineer on it, so I did a lot of the coding and some cinematics and some shaders and stuff for it. I did most of the lighting, but I didn't do any of the 3D modeling. So if you want to share anything about that, I just want people to know the geniuses behind the model that she uses and the models in the room are Velpepper and Mads, or Akuda as they're known. Yeah, just wanted to point that out because like I do have like some other stuff in the works for her that I also was a 3D modeler on, but yeah, I don't know. Just don't want credit where credit's due. I like got to work on so many on like I got to work with really talented people on this project, so I wanted to make sure they got.
They're honestly amazing. So let me show it really quick. I hope this is the one, because since she's a big VTuber, I wasn't sure if I found the right one. But you tell me. Well, about to roll it.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, yep.
So right now I'm using WASD controls.
Is this correct?
Like a video game to move around, right? Very similarly. Very similarly. But we have stairs. We have stairs, pals. Didn't you know that? We have stairs? Yep. So we got some stairs. No dodge roll mechanics, but I can sprint. I can run. You guys want to go upstairs?
This is so cool.
You can go upstairs.
Yeah.
Go upstairs. Got another door. Here we are.
It would be wild
Hey, look,
to
my
me.
old studio poster.
It would be absolutely wild for me to have like an actual space to move around.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, I mean, and that's something I've had for a while now. I've had like a ability to interact with my space for a long time. So I have a couple of different mocap modes. I can do WASD movement. Currently you're seeing me using my Leap controller, which I love. The only thing is that makes it look weird is like when I'm sitting here, like I can't really put my hands down. If I do, it like kind of places them in the air over nothing, just like kind of hanging out. But
what I do with my hands.
Yeah, and I can, you know, talk using my, you know, I'm using my phone for my head rotation. But I also have full body mocap, which I can do. And actually, people who've been in my chat have probably seen this. I've been using it to record mocap for, we're making a new game now. It's like a DDR type dance game. So I did like a bunch of mocap with some really bad dance moves for an upcoming game.
Oh, I think I've seen some of this like little sidestep thing you do.
Yeah, I can't dance at all. So I can't even do the Fortnite dances. People will be like, yo, do the floss. I'm like, I can't do the floss.
Can you dab?
It's so basic. Yeah, I struggled to dab.
Give me your best dab.
I did it. Like, I can't do it with this setup. I don't think that would work at all. If I do that, it's just gonna like, yeah, I'll just lose tracking on my fingers. But the yeah, no, I can do it with full body VR. It's like, I use a VR system to do my full body mocap tracking. It's another system that I've designed. It works pretty well, but it needs some more work. That's something I've wanted to put more time into. It's always kind of a battle to figure out like what to spend your time on.
Of course. Well, we have the first question, by the way.
Okay.
Milo has a bunch of questions, as do I, about tech and film. He asks, do you have any assistive tools for your tech stuff, like streamer bots or Leorian board or anything like that?
A lot of the tools that I want, I just make. I've used Leorian board for some stuff. I have a Stream Deck, which is really helpful. In terms of the stuff that I'm doing with like camera work and stuff like that, I have like, you know, I'm kind of doing that with my own system. This is going to be weird because it's going to like sort of break the scene, but I'm going to do a weird one. I can do like camera transitions. So
oh, hell yes.
It's going to make my head real big in your cafe. Like it's going to, you know, so this is like, you know, this is not how Milo expected to see me today. Here I am. So I mean, it makes a lot more sense when we're not in like a fixed point perspective little cafe, but you know, that's like I can move between a bunch of different shots in my scene. I think there's like there's another one. Oops,
there you go.
That's not it. Anyways, you know, so that's all tech that I've been working on for a long time. Some of those tools I've had for a while, and yeah, it's what was the question? Do I use Leorian board and stuff?
Oh, yeah, but you make your own.
Yeah, for the most part, I'm vanilla OBS. I think most VTubers are just using like a stack of tools, which is ridiculous. So like, I have just been trying to like create a simple solution of like, just let me run Unreal Engine and OBS. And for the most part, that's really all I use. It's all I need to stream anyways.
And then Milo has another question. Do you have a film degree? Do you have any tips on learning good editing techniques? Because your videos have such good hooks.
Oh yeah, I don't have a film editing degree. I just kind of I'm one of those people who will just relentlessly learn stuff. Like if you just leave me in a room full of books, like, and you told me like, we'll see you in 30 days. Like, I'm going to run out of books real fast. So I'm pretty like obsessive, like as a personality, like I gotta be careful because some of the stuff I know like is teachable and some of it's not. Like I know that like some of it is like I can't I don't think I could teach someone to make a D&D simulator in a week. Like I think if you end up building something like that, it's because you're obsessive and you can like just dive in and figure all that stuff out. So after like high school, I knew I really didn't want to go to college because I really didn't like going to school. So I just kind of was like, I'm sure I can figure this out. I can do something. Like I had a camera already, I had like a basic one, and I had some like connections in the city I was living in. And I was like, you know what? Let's just see what happens. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can put out there. And then I ended up getting my first full-time job as a filmmaker like 5 months after I graduated. So, wow. Yes, and it just kind of like fell in my lap. So it was like, okay, yeah, cool. Let's go. Let's do this. And that was my film school. I worked somewhere. I'm trying to figure out how much to say. I worked somewhere that had me do like a lot of work. Like content creators have to make a lot of content, right? Like they have to put a lot of videos together, constantly be on the drive to continue to, put out your product. And I learned how to do that at some of my first jobs. My first couple jobs had me making, films and really, honestly, like fairly intense films, and usually in like 1 to 2 weeks. So like I'd be making like 30 to 40 short films a year that were either little documentaries or they were motion graphics things or something like that. And I ended up kind of by the end of 2 years having like touched a ton of different projects. Like I was doing Adobe After Effects, and I was lighting my scenes, and I was running interviews, and I was writing things. And the best film school out there, the best film school is doing stuff.
Hell
like
yes.
The best thing you could possibly do is just get your hands as dirty as possible and like just do a bunch of things. There's a great storyteller named Ira Glass who's famous for a radio show called This American Life. And he talks about this thing of like the gap of like knowing how good something could be when you make something, but knowing that your stuff isn't that good yet. Like the way you get through that process of eventually getting stuff that is really cool, that you recognize as being good, is you just do a lot of stuff, put a lot of work out there.
All right, we're collecting a few questions by now, so let's do a few speedy ones. This one's from Nata, by the way. Hello, Nata. How's it going? She asked, I don't know if
that name.
Yeah, this Cherries from Cherry. I don't know if somebody already asked this, but do you mind sharing some film and directors that have inspired you?
Yeah, so this is interesting. So like I'll keep it brief because I don't want to get too self-indulgent here. Like when I was, earlier in my career, I was like, oh yeah, the film is the best, to like make fantastic films. And I like was into art house movies, and I was watching a bunch of like Tarkovsky films. Like if you don't know Tarkovsky,
yes,
he's a super opaque Russian director, and like who knows what his films are about. I read his book, I still have no idea what any of it's about. Like I liked people like him. I really liked Terrence Malick. I really liked Chivo, cinematographer Emmanuel Lubezki, who's 3-time Oscar winner. Like brilliant filmmakers. But like the thing that they were all making this kind of films that were like a little hard to watch, that were like beautiful images, but like, if you look at my YouTube content, you're like, that is the farthest freaking thing from like any of those people. Like, the kind of content that I put on YouTube is like goofy and fun to watch and silly, and it's got a bunch of scenes, and it's like personality driven and stuff like that. And this is kind of the first time in my life I've kind of like put a bunch of energy into just like putting my personality into what I'm doing. Because it like, when I first started, I was like, I wanted to make films like these great artists who are, doing these serious films. And their stuff still inspires me. Like I still have like a lot of great inspiration left over from watching some of those films and like understanding the nature of art a little bit better. But it also, I feel like as time has gone on, I've been honest with myself, and it's like the films that inspired me as a little kid, like it wasn't because I saw like The Godfather with my dad. Like it was like I went and I saw like Disney's Atlantis: The Lost Empire, which is like a gorgeously animated film. Hasn't aged super well in some respects. I loved that movie. I loved Treasure Planet. Like that's an amazing film. And like played a lot of PlayStation games that like were from that era. So like I had like the PS1 version of Treasure Planet, and like when I look back on my childhood, like that stuff inspires me too. So I like kind of end up once again being this mixture soup of interesting things that I like.
I mean, Tarkovsky's a very high bar to set yourself to. I
didn't know that you were gonna talk with me about Tarkovsky. Like, let's freaking go. Like, I could talk about Tarkovsky for sure. It's been a while though. Like, have you seen Solaris?
Of course, yeah. I mean, read the book a long time ago. The movie's also very good.
The movie's good. If you can make it through like the opening overture, there's like 20 minutes of nothing at the beginning of the film.
You're gonna have to send me recommendations for movies, because for me, I love finding new films.
I don't feel like I guess my partner had watched a movie last night, but like I don't even watch movies that often anymore. Like lately I've just been playing a lot of video games. It all goes in cycles with me. But sometimes I read a lot, sometimes I play a lot, sometimes I watch a lot of movies.
Let's get through the next questions, because we're piling them up. Milo asks, any story behind the beanie?
The beanie? No, I don't have a cool story behind the beanie, other than I do have a beanie that's like this in real life, and I like it. I did get to interview Sam Lazarus, who's the creative director at Rococo. He's somebody I know, and he wears a red beanie, and he's got a fantastic story behind his red beanie. His is like inspired by a Wes Anderson movie that I really like.
Oh, which one?
The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
Oh, of course. Okay. I see it now.
Which I would say, yeah, I mean, like Wes Anderson also a big influence.
Yeah.
Probably one of my favorite movies is The Grand Budapest Hotel.
Oh my God, me too. That's I think that's his magnus opus.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think it's the best thing he's ever done, for sure.
Our next question is from Esra Jams. So what's your favorite game genre?
Game genre. I like anything that moves. So like I don't necessarily always just play skate games, but I like any game with like a good sense of motion. So I play a lot of platformers. This year, like a couple of studios, I don't know what the relationship between these, but Roll7 and Private Division came out both with a game called Rollerdrome and a game called Ollie Ollie World. And I played both of them and I love them. They're both like skate games. Ollie Ollie World is like a 2D skating game. And then Rollerdrome is almost like Tony Hawk, but you're on roller skates and you get to shoot enemies in slow motion. It's totally sick. I like anything like that with a like, just a bunch of motion, slow motion. Like I like games that feel kinetic.
Mm-hmm.
I can't play RTS games. Like I can't play any game where I have to
really?
look down at a map. Yeah, it's bad.
Why are you DMing?
Why am I DMing? Because like so I have pretty bad ADHD. So like I have a lot of trouble kind of keeping on track. So I actually really don't like playing Dungeons and Dragons as a player. Like I have to kind of sit there and like sort of wait my turn and stuff, and it's awful. So I end up like, especially online games, like I end up like looking at stuff, like, I'm twirling my toes. I'm not like really in there. When I DM though, I have about like 15 different processes going on at once, especially when we play on Twitch, so like I love that then. Like that's when it gets so fun, because then it's like there's so much going on and I'm like behind the scenes, I'm like processing all the other things I have to do, and like that's actually when it gets like great. So that's why I'm DMing. It's like and that's why I like the games that I like. Is I like the games that feel really fast and like really fun. Like Mirror's Edge was huge for me when I played it played that when I was a teenager, I think. It's like that's a pretty old game now, but like that game was super fun. Just like parkouring around the city. If you don't know, it's like a parkour shooter, mostly parkour.
Love that game.
But any game where I get to go fast, really.
Do you have any comfort games? Asks Queen Willow Wisp.
Oh, that's a great question. Comfort games. Games I go back to. So I still play a lot of retro games. So every once in a while I will bust out my PlayStation 1 Pretty regularly, I end up playing back through the Spyro the Dragon trilogy, like the original ones. I have the remaster too, and those are great too. But yeah, for currently my PS1's like in need of some maintenance, but I love the old school PlayStation platformers. Like, to me, they actually, like, controversial take here. Super Mario 64 doesn't have much on Crash Bandicoot, personally. Hot take, I know. That's probably a bad comparison. Like, Spyro, to me, like flames Mario's little butt. It's just so much better.
Speaking of games and trying to bring it a little bit back to game dev, is there a game that you sort of envision as the creation that you want to be your magnus opus? Yeah,
I saw that you had asked me that question before. Like, I knew that you were going to ask me that question.
Questions before? What are you talking about?
Sorry, yeah, I don't want to mention the meta
of
the stream there. When I interview people, I'm like, don't talk about the notes. Like, don't
no, it's fine.
Don't talk about the thing behind the thing. So like, I don't necessarily think about like, oh yeah, like this is the game I want to make. I got to listen to a lecture recently from Andrew Sholdis, who created a game called Tunic, which was probably my favorite game I played this year. So good, really good game. And he, clearly had this as like an ideal of his. Like, that game is a really great game. It's sort of like a old school Zelda meets Dark Souls game. It was really cool and very mysterious. And like, the creator clearly was clearly inspired by those games and wanted to create that product really badly. And when I think about the future of like what I want to create, I think less about like, what kind of game do I want to make, and more about like what kind of experience I want to make. Because like, for me, it's not just the games, right? So like, I have my filmmaking background. I'm trying to think about like, okay, what's a cool, like, something in between? So a lot of times what I get most excited about are like new features for my stream, or like collabs, or like things that I'm gonna do that fall somewhere in between a game and a film. And maybe eventually I'll come up with a good name for this. I guess interactive streaming is the idea, but that I'm sort of subverting the question, but that's my answer.
No, it's fine. And I think we had another question, but I also wanted to ask, while you play video games, because I know Milo has done this sometimes, and it made me curious if you do the same thing. When you play video games, do you ever see something as a developer and you're like, oh wow, that was a very cool way to do this, like this effect or something like that?
I mean, I definitely do the opposite. Like, I definitely sometimes am like, you made the hitboxes wrong, my dude. Like,
yeah.
Like, I'd be playing a game and I'm like, they could have backed up this invisible wall like a little bit or something. The thing that actually like really like messes with me is like when something that like maybe like one developer would spend like a week on or something like that becomes like a talking point for a whole feature. So like Pokemon and Scarlet and Violet are coming out, and I don't know what the feature is, but in the trailer there's this shader that keeps like displaying over the Pokemon that makes them look like sort of crystalline, but it's like a moving crystal shader. And I don't know what that's all about, but I'm sure it's a huge new feature in the game. And I bet it took somebody there. I mean, I don't know how long it took them to make the shader, right? It's like however much time they were given, but like, like I just made a shader. Like there's just a shader, but I'm sure that shader is part of a feature that will get talked about relentlessly for like years to come. Or like when they made the Mega Evolutions, like, yes. All that's like to scale up an object in a game engine is really not that hard. Like sometimes I'll notice like it'll be like a really easy to implement feature that like a game will market, that it's like, wow, they just did like this little thing, and then the whole thing has just been marketed around this small, easy to implement idea.
All right, this is less of this is more of a personal question from Elo people. I hope
that's Elo.
Correctly.
I know
Elo. What are some ways you deal with your ADHD? If you want to answer this.
Yeah. So it's also sort of the same way I deal with my anxiety. So I try to spend time meditating at the beginning of the day every day if I can. That's the thing, right? The first battle against ADHD is actually sitting down to meditate. But the days when I can kind of sit down and get a grip on my psyche by, you know, sitting in stillness for like 20 minutes and doing some breathing exercises, like I find that helps a lot. I find that timers help a lot. One thing that helps me a ton is that I am no longer a solo creator. So like I have other people that work with me now. So I still do a lot of the YouTube channel editing myself, but I have another editor who helps me with a lot of things. And then I have, you know, a small support team that also helps with like social media and scheduling and stuff like that. And knowing that like I'm working with all of them and that like we're all interacting, like I definitely have struggled less since I've like had a team.
Oh, okay. So
that's not actionable though. Like that's not like probably what LO is looking for. It's something I've noticed like it's helped me, but
no, I mean meditation
having people
is very
around
actionable.
you. Sorry, go ahead.
I think meditation is a very good place to start.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's been super helpful for sure. And I don't have any super secret meditation techniques. I don't know if Dr. K is controversial, but the Healthy Gamer has like certain educational products around meditation that I personally have found super helpful. I'm not like publicly advocating for it, but like their stuff is great and it helped me okay. A lot of the stuff you can find in a lot of different places that might talk about meditation. But yeah, for me, it's doing like, you know, alternate nostril breathing and then just sort of like focusing on my breath for a long time. I've done Headspace before. It's good.
It's okay.
It works. It works okay. You should set your timer longer if you're gonna do it. Like a default is like 10 minutes. Like 10 minutes is okay. If you can do 10 minutes a day, that's great. If you can do 20 minutes a day, it's like, ooh, that's where the money is.
It's sort of like Duolingo of meditation, where
yeah,
you definitely need to do the more than the recommended amount.
Yes, definitely. I used Duolingo before. I used Duolingo before they like gamified losing. It made me really mad. Like I learned a ton on there, and then they like added a feature where like we're talking about features that game devs use. Duolingo started making you like pay to keep playing even after you like lose things. I guess that's like a bug or a feature depending on who you ask, but man.
Before I forget, so we were talking about how you had people helping you, and that was another one of the questions I had for you. At some point do you ever envision creating your own studio?
Yeah, actually, I mean that's not really like a far off thing at all. So like you know, I do run a company as it is. Like I have my LLC. So like this week I haven't been posting a lot because we've been doing some corporate work for a company that I do a lot of work for. It's not VTuber work. It's not necessarily interactive work. It's still a lot of like traditional filmmaking. But that's the goal, is to kind of continue to find projects that are like a good mixture of my skills, and then continue to work with other really talented people who can kind of pull in like the special expertise. Because I'm kind of like, I'm not super good at just one thing. There's like a couple of things that I'm like really proficient at, enough that like it gets me through things. Like I'm pretty good at code, I'm pretty good at camera stuff and lighting stuff, and much more so in real life than in the game. And like everything else though, like I'm not really an expert about any of those things. Like a good director in any film is going to just like continue to tap talented people who can like help with all this stuff.
By the way, we're
my goal.
We're nearing the end. We have about 5 more minutes. Do you wanna? I know you were working on a project, for VTubing. Do you want to talk about that really quick?
A project for VTubing.
Or maybe I misread with all the messages. But you said you were working on something that was gonna be coming up soon, right?
Yeah, actually, I think what I was hoping to do was a couple of things happened recently that just have been kind of throwing me off track. One was like, you know, we got contracted to do a lot of this big project for a client, and it's fine when that happens. Like you lose a little bit of time making content, but like you end up getting paid, and like you also need money to function, at least in the society I live in. And money helps with that. And the other thing recently is like my cat passed away recently, so it's been
sorry about that.
Been tough. Thanks. It's been tough to get back on it, but currently I'm just sort of trying to document some of these games that already exist. Like it's about time to like start another development project, and we're like kind of behind on the videos. So I was really hoping to debut one yesterday, but it just kind of all got swept up, and that doesn't feel like a really cool interview talking point. But
all in due time.
Yeah, all in due time. I think I think that's what I told you. It was like, oh yeah, we're gonna be debuting a video, and we did not.
But that, I mean, that always happens, right? You can't control everything that happens.
No. You got to figure out what the most important thing is, at least for a time, and then deal with whatever's the most important thing. You know, if it's like making it through with your stuff that happens with your cat, if it's like keeping a client happy, like a lot of times you got to do what you got to do. And then the people who's, you know, for those of you out there who are content creators, like the people out there who are like spending the most time to try and like, you know, do content creation professionally, those people are under a lot of pressure that I think most people don't really think about. Because whatever's the money focused thing, because I'm talking, like I said earlier, it's always hard for me to pick what I want to do next. Whatever thing that you have to do to get paid, that's the thing that's probably going to stress you out the most.
Well,
So,
thank you.
yeah.
So we have 4 minutes. Okay. Other than that, what's up for the future? Any big plans you want to talk about?
Yeah. So, I mean, one thing I'll sort of like nod at, I don't know what's possible yet. But like a part of me wants to play God. So like I mentioned that like I lost my cat, and it just, you know, it's been like honestly, it's probably like too early to talk about this. It's been like a week, but our cat was really special to us. It was like really sad to watch her go. A part of me is like, I have all this data on the cat. Could I upload her into Unreal Engine? Could I create the cat afterlife? Could I do it? Could it, like, I make inadvisable stuff, right? Like ridiculous projects.
I don't know what to say.
Like, what if I could bring my cat back? What if I could do it? What if I could bring her back?
Frank and Winnie the cat.
Yeah, Frank and Kitty, maybe.
Frank and Kitty. But I mean, I think
So-
it would also be very cute. It's sort of a monument to your cat.
Okay, I think you've maybe actually caught more of the idea. I was maybe being a little over dramatic on purpose, but so yeah, something like that. That's sort of the next thing I'm looking at. Oh, also, you're gonna start seeing like people in my chat know that I made this Dance Dance Revolution game, and I finished it. Like I have it playable version of it. It is super goofy and scuffed, but you're gonna start seeing. I think you're gonna start seeing some streamers that you know that are VTubers who have 3D models who might be in the game. I think you might see some
very cool.
streamers.
Some
stream
that I may recognize.
Some of them that you may recognize. I think
Yes.
I think you might see a few of those.
Nice. Well, we have 2 more minutes. Milo, I'm sorry. I think your question might be too long.
What's the question? I bet I can rapid fire. I bet I can do it.
If you're comfortable, okay, fine. If you're comfortable answering, are you on any ADHD meds, and did you find that it helps with meditating? I tried meditating before. I was medicated, and I just couldn't focus.
I can answer this so quickly. No.
Perfect. On to the next one. Milo asks, you're talking about a team a lot. How many people are helping you out with your projects? I think you said something like 2 or 3.
Yeah, so I have not all of them like are like trying to do work publicly. Some of them are just people I found through the magic of the internet. But there's a VTuber named Psychotic that does a lot of editing for me. She's fantastic. And then I have like a couple other part-time freelancers who kind of help with. Well, one person who sort of helps with like the business end of what I'm doing, and it's a little bit more about like some of the filmmaking stuff, some of the studio stuff, and then someone else who's helping me with a lot of like posting social media content. That's kind of new actually. So like we're still trying to find all the rhythms of that. You're catching me at a time where like the Woody Devs thing is really growing a lot.
Yeah, honestly, one last thing I want to say to you: your streams they go over my head in terms of like I have no idea what's going on, but they feel so impressive. It's so cool.
Oh my goodness, we need to make more silly things happen all the time that people can trigger. So I'll be like, "Hey guys, here's how we're gonna use animation blueprint," and then like doink, then my head's bigger or something. We need to fix that. It needs to like be too goofy for people to care if it goes over their head.
There was a lot less cabbage being thrown around than I expected, but you know I'm not sure if that's a problem.
Very cherry. My favorite song is "Lionhearted" by Porter Robinson.
Do we? Okay, I think we're at the mark because I need to prep everything. Any last words?
Yes. Hey, so if you want to check out what I'm doing and stuff, I'm at twitch.tv/WoodyDevs on November. Oh gosh, get out of here. Get out of here. On November 29th, we're going to be playing D&D on stream. You can join us. You can join me with guest game master Horatius the Dwarf. It's going to be great. Niles, this was a lovely time. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much. Honestly, I could interview you for 2 more hours, but gotta respect the time of the other interview guests because I have so many questions for you, man.
And if you ever wanted to, I would absolutely say yes because this was such a lovely time. So thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.
All right, guys, we're gonna take a 5-minute break and then we're gonna bring our next guest, Very Cherry. Let's go. Thank you, Woody, so much. All right, we'll be right back, guys.